Hey,
Hello, how are you?
how are you?
I'm fine.
Let me see, I'm getting the video here right. Hold on one second.
Okay,
Okay. Yeah, finally.
I'm
How's everything over there?
hearing perfectly.
How's Brazil?
Fine, fine. It's we are getting back to the after a long month of rains. We start to have some sun in
Oh,
April,
okay.
but still very warm than usual for this month.
Okay. All right, nice. So what part of Brazil are you located?
In the southeast. It's for people worldwide. They usually know Brazil for Rio.
Yes.
We are not so far apart. Is in the same part of the country. I'm about 600, 700 kilometers from Rio.
From
Yeah,
Rio. Okay. What's the
yeah.
name of the city there?
I'm in Jaguariúna. It's a city in the state nearby Rio. It's called São Paulo, the
São
state.
Paulo.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the capital is São Paulo too. It's like New York and New York. But
Okay,
I'm
okay.
I'm in a country, kind of the countryside of the state, with about let me say about 150 kilometers from the capital of the state.
Okay, okay. Nice, nice. I wanted to chat with you. We've been in contact for a long time, but
Yeah.
we never got a chance to speak. But
Mhm.
just wanted to since we are in the coffee, I cannot say I'm in the business, but I'm into it for a while. So I wanted to learn more from an expert agronomist like yourself.
Thank
So
you.
so what is it that you do, and why do you specialize in coffee?
Yeah, I like to give a little bit of perspective why I'm working with coffee. The first reason is because my father is a coffee farmer, and since I know my father works with coffee in Subway, he started with a very tiny farmland with less than 1,000 trees of coffee, and then after that he bought a little bigger one, not a huge farm, about um, let me say about 10,000 trees. And I always seen him struggling with coffee prices. And I
Hmm.
saw that is a issue with many farmers that I met during during reunions or courses. Every farmer complain about the prices and how to
Okay.
compete. Was like 20 years ago,
Okay.
and Brazil was not well known as quality coffee country because of a lot of stereotypes that we had in Brazil. But farmers start to understand that like specialty coffee is something that could make money. And then I went to the university to study
Okay.
agronomy, and coffee was always my focus to think about how to bring more opportunities, more profit to the farmers in the region that I is still working. My father
Okay.
farms is about 50 kilometers away from here, about 1 hour by car.
Okay.
And then I start to work, when I get my degree, start to work with the small coffee farmers. And then I learn a lot with specialty, but with other chains related to coffee, like organics,
Okay.
agroforest, regenerative. So everything it's working in favor to me to stay in the coffee
I
area.
see. Okay.
And then I saw a lot of opportunities to with people that work in the industry, that coffee farmers in that time, but now it's a little bit different. They know each other and understand what roasters want, what baristas want, what coffee shops want.
Yes.
So I like to talk with everyone and understand what coffee farmers should do in order to reach the expectations of the industry, like
Yes.
roasters, brands, and things like that.
Okay. That's great. That's one of the reasons I wanted to chat with you because I noticed you really like this. You really
Mm-hmm.
like what you do, and that's something that I admire from you.
Mm-hmm. Thank
So
you.
so I wanted to since you mentioned the word specialty coffee, there's a lot of people, especially in big cities, that don't really understand what is the meaning of specialty coffee and why is it so much, it costs so much more than any conventional coffee that you buy in a whatever Dunkin' Donuts, for example.
Mm-hmm.
In this country is one of the main ones. So what is your opinion about that? Like, why should people pay more if it's specialty coffee?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, coffee chain. Once a friend of mine said that coffee chains are very confused chain because there's a lot of branches. There are a lot of people working with coffee, a lot of origins, and a lot of countries, and it not well organized in a lot of stuff like terms. How I say specialty for like usual people that drink coffee do not understand the ASCA protocol to really understand what mean 80 pointing plus or things like that is too much complicated. So I think today we are living in a world of a lot of options, not just in coffee. So, for instance, when the fermented coffee, the not the usual one that people do in Colombia, but the one that people are using yeasts to force some kind of fermentation, uses some stuff. I
Yeah.
was very worried because a lot of farmers do not have ways to deliver this kind of coffee. For me, specialty, when I start to work with coffee, I think specialty should be specialty to the farmer have some kind of profit. But along my way, I learned that a lot of coffee should be traded as conventional coffee because
Okay.
in the farm, it's very expensive to do a specialty coffee sometimes because need a lot of care and sometimes a lot of training with the pickers and stuff like that. And I saw that specialty should be a part of the way, but conventional is very important too because sometimes it's a coffee that some people could afford, at least in Brazil. Coffee
Okay.
is very expensive. If you think about specialty for a kilo, about 2 pounds of coffee, we will pay in terms of Brazilian average wage about
Yeah.
10% of the total wage of a person. It's like because if someone earns $1,000 a month, a specialty coffee will cost a kilo about $100.
I see.
So in terms of course, in dollars a little bit different, but it's kind of the same. So I saw we just should explain in a way that customers should understand, okay, this is a specialty, and like you said, this costs more because of that, but this is conventional. If you have just the way to pay for that, but you should understand is very different for this kind of coffee. It's a lower
Yes.
quality coffee, that's why it costs less, and there's some stuff that could taste different and stuff. It's for me, it's important to start to educate drinkers, but
Yes.
is not in a, how can I say that, not pushing too much the
Yeah.
people to drink coffee. I don't like that too. Like, you have to drink coffee with no sugar, you have to drink coffee in this roast level, should be from some place in the world. I like to, the choices for the customer, the drinker, but
The drinker. Yeah.
we should educate him. Okay, dark roasted coffee means that. light roasted means that, low quality coffee means that. If you drink coffee from Peru, it tastes like most like that. From Ethiopia is like that, Brazil like that. So make your choice. And for me, it's something that along the way changed about industry. They are very important in the segment. Like even they sometimes serve, I think, really bad quality coffee, but they still sometimes the first step to people to start to drink something different that you buy in a shelf of grocery for a Folgers or a Maxwell or something like that. So it's important to people like have it's like baby step stuff.
It's a long, it might take a long while for people to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But then, how about in the farm, like the methods for growing organic coffee? What is it that you do differently there compared to the conventional one?
Mm-hmm. Organic coffee worldwide. There some difference. Some farmers follow the rules for some third-party certification institute, like in the United States, the USDA that regulate the rules. In Europe is the Union. In Japan is different, and in Brazil is different. So. Depending on what kind of market the coffee farmers want to sell their beans, they should follow the rules for one of them or all of them to be to have the coffee like approved to sell in different markets. But basically is no conventional chemicals like herbicides and stuff like that, but they could use some fungicides that are authorized by the certified companies, which is low or no toxicity to people or to the environmental. They do not use any kind of soluble fertilizer. Usually conventional crops use, if you grow something at home, you buy like small packs with round fertilizer, which are soluble fertilizer, very concentrated fertilizer. So usually farmers in organic use like organic matter from crops, like castor oil, how can I say that? I forgot the word. Like green, some kind of weeds that we grow and cut and process in order to these weeds will turn in some kind of more concentrated fertilizer or manure, which is poop for some animal like cattle or pole. But the agronomists that work with organics should understand which nutrients are available in each source of fertilization, no matter if it's manure or green manure, which is the name that we give to these crops that we could use as for fertilization. The agronomists use the same knowledge to give the right balance of nutrients for the coffee tree in order to have good yields and the farms could have profit. And with more, it's the farmers from organic should be more take more care of the crop, because if we're not using any kind of pesticide, we should always look to the crop if we need to do something. Usually in conventional farming is easier because if I have an insect that are eating something, I just spray insecticide on everything and kill all. But in the organic, we have to control and find a balance between the plagues that will be present in the crop and animals or other insects that will eat the plague or control naturally these plagues on the fields. So
Okay.
it's not easy. That's usually organic coffee is more expensive too,
It's more, yeah.
because usually take a lot of more work over. They are a little bit less, have a less yield in
Yes.
the end of the year, and the farmer who had to put all this effort and time to take care of organic crop.
Okay, I see. So is there also a way in the, let's talk about the soil that the coffee plant grows? Like, what's the ideal soil or environment or temperature for a coffee plant to be successful? Or does it depends on the varietal also? The coffee tree variety? I see some of them like to be directly on the sun, some of them don't like it, or the altitude. Like, what's your opinion about that?
Yeah, the varieties usually are more adapted to the country that they were bred. Like
Okay.
in Colombia, they bred coffee varieties in order usually to grow underneath of some kind of shade. So if I bring this coffee variety to Brazil, maybe they will not be successful as the same as the Brazilian variety that we had 100 years of breeding in order
Yes.
to have a coffee that's very resistant to full sun exposure. So our varieties in Brazil behave good between like 800. We are talking about Arabica, but it's
Yes.
about 800 to 100, 1,200 meters sea level.
Okay.
That's why it's maybe some farmer take a seed from Brazil and take to Central America. Maybe this variety will not work well
I see.
because they're not well adapted or not well tested in different environmentals that we have here. But usually a variety for one country, the whole breeding program, they
Okay.
have like very similar characteristics. The only thing that's changed it's the ripeness process. We have
Okay.
early, middle, and late varieties. So if I'm high altitude in Brazil, maybe you should not plant a late variety because the harvesting will be too much late. Maybe I
Okay.
should use an early variety because it's colder, and then we have a good balance of growing and temperature for this specific tree.
Okay.
And the conditions, the temperatures in Brazil do not change a lot, but we have a lot of difference in terms of sunlight side. If the coffee is
Okay.
planted in the east or in the south, the same variety could have a difference between ripeness in about 1 or 2 months. In the same farm, I saw that. So the same variety in different sides of the mountain could give
Okay.
different maturation and different taste for the coffee. So
Okay.
coffee it could be grown in every place if we respect the quantity of temperature, water, and sun exposition. So that's why sometimes people grow coffee in a pot at home
I'm
because
trying that.
yeah,
It's not working.
because you could usually because the seed is not fresh. This is a issue when we buy a seed for some green seed for some place. They usually are 10% of humidity or something close of that. But for a germination purpose, you should have a seed with more than 30% of humidity level in the seed.
Okay. Okay.
If you're working with low humidity, probably your seed is already dead in some way, or they are
Oh,
in
okay.
a very deep hibernation process, and it's
Okay.
really hard to break it. So if we're trying to grow coffee using like coffee for roasting, you should put a lot of seeds in a pot
No,
in order to
okay.
check if some will sprout, and then pick the good ones and transplant to another pot. But mostly it's because of humidity level. It's high. It's not easy to sprout a seed.
I see. Because the one that I brought was from Costa Rica, from a farm. So I picked up a cherry
Oh,
and I brought
you
it
pick
with
up the
me.
cherry.
Yeah, so I thought it was gonna be successful, but it's been there for 2 months already. So maybe it's in
You
hibernation.
already put on the pot when you bring from Costa Rica.
I put it on a on water for some days
Mm-hmm.
to see if that started something, and then I put it in the pot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been under the sun for a while, but I guess the temperature is not warm enough yet because we're in the
Mm-hmm.
winter time.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah. So we'll see. So what's your favorite coffee variety?
I was for a long time. I loved the taste and the profile of yellow bourbon.
Okay.
Uh, this one still makes me happy when I drink a good quality cup of yellow bourbon. Was the first coffee that I drank a cup, and I see something different. You know, always when I have a cupping. A table of coffee. If there is a yellow bourbon, I always know is a yellow bourbon there because
Okay.
they have some special characteristics and profile that is easy to pick up this. Okay, this is yellow bourbon. But now in Brazil we have a new variety that's called Arara,
I
which
saw that in one
is
of your posts. Yeah, I never heard of
yeah,
it.
it's a lot of farmers are growing that variety because have a excellent yield, like very very high. I already harvested in one of my clients more than 100 bags of arara in 1 hectare of
Mm,
farm. So
okay.
the average usually is 30 or 40 in Brazil. And if you take some countries in Central America, it's like 12 bags or 20 bags per hectare. But this variety
Okay.
could reach, without any kind of special technology like irrigation or stuff like that, near
Okay.
to 100 bags per hectare. So
Okay.
good yields. The coffee profile, it's fantastic, very complex, very very complex, with good balance between the stuff, and
Okay.
is coffee leaf rust resistant, which
Oh,
is
it's
very
resistant. Okay.
good too. So that's why
So is
many
that a
farmers are
mutation
planting.
of another variety?
It's came from a variety, the how can I say that, the parents,
Okay.
the most close variety, it's called Sashimor, which is a
Sashimor. Yes.
hybrid. Yeah, it's a hybrid from Timor, for Timor hybrid, and a variety that's called, oh my gosh, forget the name,
Mm.
Avila Sarchi. That's, if I'm not mistaken, as it's
Oh,
from.
Villa Sarchi. Yeah, Villa
Yeah,
Sarchi. I know
yeah,
in Spanish. Yeah, yes.
yeah,
We have it
yeah,
a lot in Central America.
yeah. These two
One of my
variety,
friends. Yeah. One of
they
my
have.
friends from they have it in Honduras.
Yeah.
If you
So,
see my previous video that I talked to him, he was showing his farm
oh,
that they in
cool.
harvest right now. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This Arara it's the first generation. It's was this crossing. And then we have a lot of varieties in Brazil using the same basis, like
Okay.
what the name? It's Obatã, and which there's some places in Central America they grow the Obatã rojo,
Okay.
and and Tupi, which is a coffee leaf resistant variety. And so
Okay.
all these coffee leaf rust resistant variety are growing in Brazil, which is good
Which is good,
because
yes.
yeah, because it's more safer for the farmer. We do not need to spray a lot of fungicides in the crop because the variety is already resistant.
Yes.
So Arara, it's a variety which is growing a lot. A lot of farmers are planting because all the characteristics show
Yes.
that this variety will prosper and farmer are having good cupping notes, like
Okay.
scores in the with this variety, and I try for 4 years in a row in the same farm the variety, and the Arara have some kind of forget the word, like stability
Stability,
between
yeah.
in all the years with good quality, good cup profiles. So there's a lot of variation between year by year.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah,
Is
probably
that coffee
soon you
already
see a
been,
lot of
they're exporting that coffee already? Or no?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
There are a lot of friends that I work in with roasting coffee in United States that are buying this variety, but usually you can just buy directly for the farmer,
Okay.
because if you go to a big warehouse, they mix everything.
Oh, okay.
But there are roasters that came to Brazil to buy this specific variety because of this cup qualities.
Oh, okay. Nice. Nice. Hopefully I will find some of it around here. I never seen it in the US. Only
Mm-hmm.
seen it in one of your posts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jonas. So let's keep this one short. I know you're a busy man, but I want to thank you for the chance to chat with you. I feel like I'm talking to a celebrity, like a coffee celebrity. So
It
so
was great to talk with you too. And always, if you want to discuss something related to coffee or coffee industry, I will be happy to talk with you
yes,
and share a little bit of my experiences in coffee. And for your audience to on Instagram or whatever, feel free
yes.
to invite me. I always will be glad to talk with you.
Thank you. I will invite you for sure. So don't forget. All right. So thank you very
Okay.
much. Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
All
Bye
right.
bye, my friend.
Obrigado. Obrigado.
Thank you. Bye bye. Obrigado.